In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic swept the world this year, and people are working hard to find solutions. So in China and in Taiwan, hospitals have been using traditional Chinese medicine in combination with Western medicine to heal more than 10,000 patients with mild or moderate or serious condition. Therefore, we'd like to share the effective and economical solutions with our audience, governments, pharmacies, industry, and hospitals. With us today, I would like to introduce two guests. We've invited two Chinese medicine practitioners, Yi Jinseng and Feng Cui Lin, who both graduated from Harvard School of Public Health and New England School of Acupuncture. They are both licensed acupuncturists and Chinese herbalists at Ancient Path Acupuncture and Herbs in Lexington, Massachusetts, and Boston. They both have 20 years of experience in traditional Chinese medicine. They have sent almost 100 kilogram concentrated Chinese herbal powder to Boston Medical Center in Philadelphia, in Canada, and in Paris, and in New York. There have been over hundreds of people using their herbal prescriptions to prevent and recover from COVID-19. So I'm talking, of course, from the point of view of a Westerner who are not familiar with traditional Chinese medicine. So in order to understand how TCM works for COVID-19, could the both of you could brief us on the history and basic concept of TCM? And could we talk first about the concept of yin and yang?
Basically, Chinese medicine is a holistic medicine, and the basic idea is the human and heaven are in oneness, the yin and yang theory. Yin and yang is a duality of all the things in the universe. For example, like in the nature, we can see the sun and moon, the brightness and darkness, and male, female, all these things. And in human beings, everything need to be in balance of this yin and yang energy. And all TCM treatment would be trying to balance the yin and yang energy in the body so the human being can be in health.
From what I understood, there are 5 elements. Could you tell us about the 5 elements and their relationship with the organ system?
Sure. In addition to the concept of yin and yang in TCM, there are also 5 elements. They're wood, fire, metal, water, and earth. They need to be in a balanced condition too. And also they have 2 basic sequence. One is generating sequence. Each element generates another and is generated by another. For example, wood generates fire, fire generates earth, earth generates metal, metal generates water, and water generates wood. And
so it's very cyclical.
That's a generating sequence. And then there's another sequence called controlling sequence, which means each element controls another and is controlled by another. Okay. We control earth, earth controls water, water controls fire, fire controls metal, and metal controls wood. And when these 5 elements are out of balance, they will be normal conditions and the person will be in an unhealthy situation. So we just need to keep the balance of this. They are closely related to our organ system. So as you can see on the slide, in the human body, liver and gallbladder, they're pertaining to wood, heart and small intestine pertaining to fire, stomach, spleen, earth, lung and large intestine, metal, kidney and urinary bladder, they are water. So this organ system, they need to be in balance so every organ can function well and the human being can be in a healthy condition.
Okay. There are apparently 4 TCM classics. What are they and how do they provide ideas of COVID-19 treatments and prevention?
First one and the most famous one is the Yellow Emperor's Internal Classic, or called Huangdi Neijing. It's the most important ancient context in Chinese medicine, as well as a major book of Taoist theory and lifestyle. And the second classic is called 神农本草经. In this classic, we can find there's a lot of agricultural and medicinal plants recorded here. And then the third one is called Nanjing, the canon of difficult issues. Do the Q&A to further explain the TCM theory and treatment described in 黄帝内经. And the first one is the 伤寒论, treatise on cold pathogenic disease. It illustrates different stages of disease and corresponding treatment. They are organized into 6 divisions corresponding to the 6 stages of disease. And that's the 4 classics.
As a Westerner, coming of course from more traditional system that we use in Western medicine, can you tell us for us the basic difference between TCM and Western medicine, and what is the key concept of traditional Chinese medicine?
That's a good question. Yeah, Chinese medicine really a different, I would say, philosophy and medical system from the Western medicine, because in Western medicine, you need to find out what's the pathogenic factor exactly, and then you treat one by one. But in Chinese medicine, the basic idea is how we can fortify ourselves to prevent the disease. So in the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, it says when there is sufficient upright qi inside, pathogenic factors, the evil qi, have no way to invade the body. And it also says where evil qi collects, the upright qi must be depleted first. Basically, the idea is when the yin and yang and the 5 elements, as we talked about earlier, when they're balanced, and then in our body, the upright qi would be ample and strong. Therefore, the evil qi cannot interfere the normal function of the organ system. What is the upright qi? Modern language, we can narrow it down, say, like the strong immunity. And if we kind of talk it more broadly, is the optimal organ function, and also including the normal function of the qi, the vital energy, and blood circulation.
From what I understand, also there are in traditional Chinese medicine, what are the main causes of diseases that you've referenced?
Okay, in TCM, the causes of disease can be categorized in 3 different aspects. The first one is the so-called external causes, or we usually call them the 6 pathogenic factors. That's the outside. And then also there are internal causes. Usually that's our emotions, or we call it.
Yeah, I do a lot of overthinking sometimes.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, a lot of people overthink.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and other than these 2 categories, there are also something we call others, including some imbalanced diet, overexertion, intercourse, trauma, injury, incest, wound, and bites by insects and bees, etc. And in TCM, COVID-19 could be categorized to the external causes, coldness and dampness, evil pathogenics factors. And the COVID-19 virus survives well in cold and damp environment. Yeah, so in Chinese medicine, when we do the treatment, we try to drain the dampness and warm the body.
Actually, it's interesting that you say this, because I don't know about the weather in China and in Taiwan, but what's crazy is that when you look at the curve in France, it literally dipped in summer when it was warmer and drier, and the second the winter arrived and fall, it just rose up again. So definitely like humidity, cold, and lack of light, it's definitely something that makes it thrive.
Yeah, and besides, as you know, the summertime, people usually go outdoor and exercise.
True.
And be more positive in emotion. So you boost the upright chi, and that could definitely get you more defense to the pathogenic factors.
What are the TCM ways to promote healing and wellness?
Yeah, there are different treatment modalities we can use.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is herbs,
Mm-hmm.
the medicinal materials to help people's normal function. And the second one, acupuncture. By inserting needles to acupuncture point, we
Mm-hmm.
can regulate the energy flow and the blood flow to restore the balance and function of the body. And we also use massibustion to warm the body to boost the upright chi. And
Okay.
also people could use, say, Zhenggu, which is similar to the chiropractic work, and Toina, similar to massage, to soothe the energy and to align the structure. And also, we use dietary therapy, which can help people to get a better nutrition for their health. And in addition to that, exercise, which is more about Tai Chi and Qigong, that kind of energy work. And all this together to strengthen our body's energy and promote the Qi and blood circulation.
You know, traditional Chinese medicine have been existing for millennia now, so definitely it has occurrences in previous pandemics. So could you tell us the cases where traditional Chinese medicine has been used to control pandemics in history?
The first one I like to talk about is Zhang Zhongjin. He's
Okay.
the one who wrote a book, Shanghan Lun, the treatise on cold damage. How Zhang Zhongjin started study Chinese medicine just because there's a big plague outbreak and caused millions and million people die, and his family get more than 200 people, living together in a small village, but about 2/3 of them died during that plague. And this made him determined to study TCM. And because of that, he studied and eventually wrote this book, Shanghan Lun, to help people think about how we can treat the pandemic through TCM. And this is a great book. And if you are interested, of course, you can find it online for more detailed stories. And there's another one I like to share is there's a book called Song Feng Shuo Yi, Song Feng's Commentaries on Plagues. And this person, he is in the Qing dynasty about 100, 200 years ago. And in his book, he really described their all different symptoms, disease, and also he explained the theories and concept of TCM, and also describe the function of herbs and different formulas, herbal formulas, that how we can treat the plague. He re-emphasized one thing people didn't talk about before is he introduced something metaphysical, talking about how we can really get that kind of good karma to transform all this situation, on top of the TCM theory. And that's just a very unique description in his book.
I heard that there is an effective herbal formula developed in Taiwan for COVID-19. Could you share some details about that story?
Of course. Yeah, there is a herbal formula developed during the time in the past month in Taiwan. It's called the Taiwan Qingguan Yihao. And that is the formula consists of 10 different kinds of herbs. And they have been using this herb to apply to the patients who did not cover well. 12 of them, they take the Chinese herbs and they will recover around like 8 to 10 days and become negative for COVID. And they found there's no side effect. And in the herbal formula, they also not only doing the clinical like application, they also do a lab test, which means that the analysis how this herbal formula affecting the cell level. They found that the herbs, they have antiviral properties. The herb can bind to the spike protein of COVID-19, which means that spike protein will not connect to bind to the ACE2 receptor, then which can inhibit the invading of the virus into our cell. Okay. We also found that the herb has a function to avoid the viral replication and avoid the cytokine storm. Okay. This is the herb. I want to show you the picture and also the team of the doctors, and they work together and to figure out this very useful and very like to help people to recover. Okay. This is the article they published in the journal, Science Journal, the Biomedicine and Pharmacotherapy. Okay. Topic is a traditional Chinese medicine formula, RICM 101, to target COVID-19 through mutual pathway, a bedside to bench study. So if someone are interested, you can go to check on this article for more detail. Okay. And this is just the diagram to illustrate how all these herbs interact with the COVID-19 virus, okay, and how they protect our cell. Okay, it's interesting, yeah. And the reason why that there not many people get this herb is because in Taiwan, there are not many cases anyway. So on the next section, I heard that in China, more than 90% of COVID-19 patients had used Chinese herbs at one point or the other to heal from mild, moderate, or serious situation, and it actually helped greatly decrease the mortality rate. Could you tell us a bit more about what happened there? Yes, since the outbreak, I pay close attention to what's going on in the Asia country, especially China and Taiwan, and I pay close attention to what have they done and to treat this pandemic. And I found that in many articles from their summary, and this is something that I would like to summarize for you. And they actually, in the beginning of the outbreak, there are nearly 5,000 TCM doctors. They went to Wuhan to support the whole thing, to participate treating patients. And more than 92% of confirmed cases, which means that over 70,000 patients have used Chinese herbs to treat the COVID-19, and that's by March of this year. Okay. And they found that the effective rate is over 90%. So wow, that's quite impressive. So I have a further investigation to know what they have done. And they use a very effective strategy, is that they use a so-called a common formula to control the outbreak in the community level, which means that they distributed the herbal formula, the herbal decoction, to the people who have different kinds of symptoms at home. They take it for 3 days. That's good. And a lot of people just recover from that the herbal formula,
And for someone that if they still have symptoms going on, and they will have the cell phone app that you can go to the app and fill out a questionnaire, what's going on with you, all your symptoms.
Yeah.
So people will contact you and then they will send the herb to your home. You can cook them at home, or they already cook and get ready and send you a home. You can take it from home. Because they believe that if you can control the outbreak in the beginning, at home, and then you can avoid the collapse of the or the overwhelming of the hospital.
Yeah.
So I think this is a quite effective strategy, and they control the beginning in the beginning, and they do a very good job on this. And also, I'd like to introduce you, in addition to they have done to the community, and they also built like kind of 3 kinds of hospitals. They all are temporary hospitals, more like the field hospitals. And the first one is called Fangcang Yiyuan, Fangcang Hospital. It's a field hospital that they accept the mild case of COVID-19 patients, and then PCM treatment as their primary method.
Okay.
And there are more than 10 Fangcang hospital at that time. And there's one really caught my attention. It's called the Jiangxia Fangcang Yiyuan.
Okay.
Yeah, and I read the article mentioned about how this hospital operated. And then actually they only operated from February 14 to March 10th, totally 26 days.
Okay.
They accept 564 patients.
Okay.
And 482 are all recovered.
Okay.
And the rest of the patients, like 82 of them, they transfer to other hospitals because they have some kind of underlying disease, so they continue for care. And their record is that through these 26 days, nobody becomes serious case.
That's good.
Nobody, there's no cross infection for the doctors and nurses, the doctors and the staff.
That's great.
So that's quite, that's quite impressed. And
It is.
yes, yeah, and they only use Chinese medicine as a primary method. So for example, they use acupuncture, they use herbs, they use herbal patch, they use moxa, and yeah, this is the primary things they do, or they do the qigong exercise. So this is all the things they do, and I think it really work really well, for the patient to recover. And the other 2 kind of hospital, the other 2 hospital is more for the serious case. It's called Wuhan Huoshenshan Yiyuan and Wuhan Leishenshan Yiyuan. They combine the Western medicine and Chinese medicine together.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's basically, how they, that through the couple months, and actually for the Huoshenshan Yiyuan and Leishenshan Yiyuan, they run about like starting in February, and they close on the April 15. So it took about like a little bit more than 2 months and to close down the hospital.
Okay.
And then I also want to share with you the herbal formula they've been published, from their government, and there are 3 herbal medicines, and they prove to be helpful, and they're using it to treating patients. They also develop another 3 herbal formulas. And of course, there are more than this. Actually, there are many other formulas being using.
Okay. It's very interesting. And it's also very encouraging because you clearly you clearly see that the results are there, and it's really good to know that it's not only through like simple Western treatment, but also through that system that we can actually achieve good results.
Definitely. I think the combination, the integration of the Western and the Chinese medicine really provide a great help.
Yeah.
For this controlling.
All right. So from there, we can see, of course, that you've got a lot of doctors and everything, but those doctors are also looking for signs like symptoms. Could you tell us what are the symptoms of COVID-19 for people who might not be necessarily aware of everything that's going on?
Yes. So the common symptoms are fever, cough, shortness of breath or difficult breathing,
Mhm.
fatigue, muscle body ache, and new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting. This is
Okay.
a common symptoms. And they are also a very serious symptoms, and you definitely have to seek the medical attention immediately. For example, the serious symptoms like difficult breathing, persistent pain or pressure in your chest, new confusion, and bluish lips or face.
Okay. It was just to give the people who actually need to know if they have something a little
Sure,
bit of like a guide of what they actually could go through.
definitely.
All right. So I heard that you've been helping COVID-19 patients. Could you share experiences that you've gone through with them?
Sure, I'm very glad to share our experience. And during this pandemic, since the lockdown in Boston at the end of March,
Yeah.
and I have a chance to see a couple cases. And what we have done is that we design a prevention formula, and this prevention formula have been distributed to the, like you mentioned before, the Boston Medical Center for doctors and nurses and staff. Since at that time, the PPE, is not enough, not enough mask and not enough protection. So the herb formula did provide support for the doctor and nurses. And
Okay.
also we send it to a different area and to our friends and family, and they all taking the prevention formula. And when they they don't feel well and they will take it, or when they are in a public area and they encounter more people, they kind of worry, or they are in the airplane, something like that. So they feel like when they're taking it, and that really help them to feel better, and they not to getting the infection. So this is something that we figure out the formula, and since we've been using the combination of different herbal formula, and we have tried different formula, and they are all very effective.
Okay.
So, yeah, I will just share with you, and that's the first one for the prevention formula.
Okay.
And also for those who already get the COVID-19, and we have a few cases too, and I would like to share with you.
I would
And
love.
for those who they have the COVID-19, they call us, and then we through the phone we take their symptoms, understand what's going on, and then we ask them to take a picture of their tongue, because the tongue give you a lot of information about what's going on internally.
Okay.
So we use this to make a diagnosis. So according to their special condition, and we give them the specific prescription to help their condition. And then the following, I just want to show you the herb in our formula. I just want to show some of them, how they look like. And this is the first one called Cai Hu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And second one, there's a Ban Xia, ginger.
Yeah, I recognize that one.
Yeah, you can find it from your kitchen.
Yes.
And the date, actually we eat, like just like a fruit, right?
Yes.
Or dessert, yeah. And ginseng, I think is very famous. We know that ginseng is very useful to boost your immunity.
Yes, indeed.
And the baizu, and which is used to tonify spleen and to get rid of the dampness.
Okay.
And it has an antiviral property, and they can get rid of a lot of so-called the toxins. And the Anqiao also is antiviral, and it's very good to get rid of toxins in the bodies.
It's great. It's great. I'm sure you have like cases or testimonials. Could you share them with us?
Of course, yeah. And I have few testimonial that I want to share with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one, the first one is Christina from Canada.
Okay.
She's a 24-year-old nurse. She's working for the hospital, taking care of the COVID patients.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning of the outbreak, as you know, because the protection is not that well,
Mm-hmm.
and she got infected, unfortunately.
Okay.
She went home to quarantine for 14 days. So for those 14 days, some of her symptoms go away. For example, the shortness of breath or the fever goes away, but she still have quite a few symptoms like a dry cough, and she is very fatigued. The runny nose still there, and she went back to check for the test, and she always come back positive.
Okay.
And then that's the time that she, through a friend, contact with me, and then I give her the diagnosis and give her the prescription. And after she take the prescription for about 3 to 5 days,
Okay.
the rest of the symptom goes away dramatically.
That's great.
And then she start to, truly feel that she's healing. And after that, take for another couple of days, and she went back to take a test again. And she said that twice of the test come back negative.
Yeah.
And she's able to go back to her work. And then she called me again and said that, what else can I do to prevent? And I said, of course, after you recover, and because you have to take care of the COVID patients, so you need to protect yourself. So why not you take some of the prevention herb for like only like a few spoons of the herbal powder, low dose, that provide her very good protection. And she told me that she feel very peaceful and she feel not stressed out, and she's very healthy.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good luck, Christina.
Yeah. And then she's the first case I see, so that really encouraged me, like to know, wow, Chinese herb works. So I'm very, very excited about like helping more people.
Yeah.
And then the second case I would like to share with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a friend's friend.
Okay.
And she got the COVID-19, and she has her video done for all of us. So I like to just share her video.
That would be great.
It'll be even more real.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then I have a couple more cases to share, and then I will show you this. Okay.
Okay, great.
So this is the sharing from Christine. She lives in Massachusetts.
That's great.
Hello, my name is Christine Garcia Akers, and in early March, I became very ill with COVID-19. I had been substituting in a nursery classroom in late February, and the assistant teacher had been sick and she had a cough, and very soon afterwards I had developed a cough as well as a sore throat. I did not think it was serious. I thought it was just a little cold that I would get over. But after 2 weeks, I became very sick with the flu. Once again, I thought with just a warm bath and some bed rest, I would get better. But a couple of days later, I was a lot worse. I called my doctor, and he prescribed for me vitamins and minerals to support my my immune system, and it helped me a little bit. But within 2 days, I was a lot sicker, and so sick that I was having a lot of difficulty breathing and had to be rushed to the emergency room. When I was there, they conducted a lot of tests, and they saw that I was very dehydrated, and they put me on a drip. But after a full day in the hospital, they determined there was nothing else they could do for me. And even though I had COVID-19, they said there was nothing they could do, and I should just go home and quarantine and come back if I felt worse. So I went home, and within 24 hours, I was in so much pain all over my body. It was unbearable, and I had to go back to the emergency room where they gave me some very strong painkillers. And once again, after a couple of hours, I was sent home. At this point, it had become very difficult to take care of myself, and my sister had to come up from New York. I live in Massachusetts, and take care of me because I'd lost a lot of weight. I had lost at least 15 pounds, and I was down to 100 pounds. I could barely feed myself. I had lost my appetite, but I could not get out of bed. And I needed someone to care for me like around the clock. So my sister came up, and thank goodness a friend of mine put me in touch with Feng Shui, who I reached out to, and she diagnosed me over the phone. I sent her pictures of my tongue, and she determined what herbs I needed, and she sent them out right away. Within a couple of days, I started to feel a little better. And Feng Shui checked in on me all the time, and she would change the herbal remedy according to what I was experiencing. She also directed me where to find the pressure points on my body so that I could relieve the inflammation and breathe a lot better. It was like a miracle, because right before I reached out to Feng Shui, I had given up hope, and I sincerely believed that I was going to die because there was nowhere I could turn. I believe without the help of Feng Shui and my sister's care, I would not survive, because the mainstream medical system just did not know how to deal with this disease, and they could provide no support until you were at such an emergency level that they would put you on a ventilator. So thank goodness I avoided that. So it was a long haul, but I am very, very grateful to Feng Shui, and I just wish that everybody else had access to the herbs that I did. Thanks very much, and I wish everyone good health. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any other testimonial that you want to share?
Yes. Yeah, I have another young student. He lives in New York.
Mm-hmm.
In the past month, his mother gave me a call to see if I can help him, because he was really sick at home. And here is his testimonial. And I sent the herb to him, and I would like to share this with you.
Okay.
Coronavirus has made quite an impact on us, and it seems like modern medicine is just starting to find treatments for it. But with the Chinese medicine, I was a little skeptical at first, but being raised in an Asian background, I took it, and I was very sick. My fever was bad. I had severe shortness of breath. But taking the Chinese medicine wasn't bad. It was, you mix it with liquid. It's kind of like hot chocolate. It's like hot cocoa. And, it didn't really help my symptoms. It actually helped the main issue. And the main issue was, I guess, my immune system. So I wasn't feeling so much body fatigue anymore. I felt like I had more energy in my body. I actually got off the bed to start making meals for myself. So right away, I felt a change. I would recommend trying Chinese medicine for anyone who's curious or on the edge. Maybe they're not sure about it. Maybe they've heard about it through a friend. Definitely give it a try. It won't hurt. And I think if you just keep an open mind, it'll definitely bring benefit to your life.
Yeah, this young guy, and I want to share another thing with you is that after we send the herb to him, and I expect that he will take the herb for a day, and then I actually text him to follow up. He said, "What's going on and how are you doing?" And he sent me back the text, very short, no symptoms. I was very surprised too because I did not expect that so quickly. Yeah, but that's what he replied to me. I think, plus because he's young, he's only 24. And then I'm so glad that, he recovered from that.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it shows like how strong these herbs actually work for people who might be a bit dubious or a bit, hesitant in using them.
Yeah. Yeah, like Sean said that, it won't hurt. Give it a try.
It's like hot cocoa.
It will help you. Yeah, and I have more case to share with you. These three are the patients that they have COVID, and I have another testimonial. It's from a friend in Pennsylvania, and she took the prevention herb. This is her experience. And she said that she is an interpreter in hospital in Philadelphia. And back in April, so we hit by the pandemic the hardest. And many of the employees in the hospital very stressed due to the pandemic. And fortunately, she's taking the herb, we sent it to her. So during that time, mentally, she felt that the herb helped to calm her mind. And that helped both physically and mentally. And now she's still using the herb to help herself to overcome the fear and also to give herself more energy and a peace of mind, to be very optimistic. So I think this is something that the herb really give people the hope and the peace of mind when you know that something is protecting you. And I think that kind of positive attitude and positive thinking, it's actually already help you to strengthen your immunity, and plus the effectiveness of the herb. And I think this is something that very helpful for the people that they have to be in the environment that they may be so worried about they may get infected, and this helped them a lot.
It's crazy how the mental works on this. Like how if you are in a good head state of mind, you will be able to fight the progress of coronavirus.
Yeah, definitely. The mental status play a very key role. And before earlier, Isha mentioned about the upright chi. You remember that, right?
Yes.
So we talk about upright chi. If we define it in a very narrow way, we can say that it's a immunity, your strong immunity. But if we define it in the broader way, the upright chi including the optimal health of your body, your mind, and your spirit. So when your body, mind, and spirit, they are in the optimal status, then you have the strongest upright chi. And Yiren also mentioned about the ancient book, the Song Feng Shuo Yi, Song Feng's commentary on plagues. He mentioned something in addition to the Chinese medicine, talking about the upright mindset, the helping people, helping each other. And then actually that kind of mindset help them not getting the virus infection, even though they don't have any protection. So the the mindset, actually there's a research in the past and talking about how the positive mindset can increase the immunity, they strengthen your immunity. They actually done the experiment and they strengthen your immunity inside. So the upright mindset definitely helping your physical body to be stronger. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have another testimonial for someone have done the prevention work. Yeah, and I would like to share with you this one.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I come from Taiwan and live right now in Paris. Normally, I work as a businesswoman for developing global business. Because my husband is high dangerous group for COVID-19, so at a very early stage, I already asking my friend Fang Chui, who work for the Asian Pass in Boston, some of the Chinese herbal teas formula for preventing COVID-19 pandemic in Paris. We have several experiences in a risky situation. For example, my husband just come back from the hospitals and got very tired and headache and went to the sleep very quick. And at that situations, I try to give him some the herbal teas formulas, and he took it regularly. And after the third day, I think he already recovering as normal. And for me also, I traveling very often from Paris to Asia, and at any kind of public transportations, I always see someone cough a little, and sometimes I get also maybe 30 minutes or cough also. I think this is some of the infections symptoms. And at that moment, of course, I always try to take some of the Chinese herbal tea formula against the COVID-19. Normally, I can recover very, very soon, and I feel very good with these herbal teas. So therefore, I believe if we can have some things at a very early stage to preventing the virus spreading at our bodies, we have a big chance to overcome any kind of COVID-19 infections. So I suggestion maybe you can try this way to prevent your risk. Thank you very much for your hearing, and I hope you have very healthy times during these pandemic times. Thank you very much.
Very nice, Michelle.
And in addition to the case I share with you, and there are not many, and one of the reasons is because not many people know that Chinese medicine help, so they won't call us for help.
Okay.
Yeah, too bad. And
Yeah.
one of my friend, he is a Western medicine doctor,
Mhm.
and he is very willing to share with us his experience because he get a chance to see more patients. He's a family doctor, so people when they got sick call him, and this is
Okay.
his experience. He not only a medical doctor, he also learned Chinese medicine, Chinese herb, and acupuncture. And I would like to have him share his experience with all of you.
Okay, great.
Hi, this is Dr. Howard Liu. I have been doing my training in internal medicine in the Harvard Medical School. And I've been 20 years since I finished my medical training. And inevitably, we have encountered various kinds of epidemics and pandemics, including the 2003 SARS and the 2009 H1N1, also called the swine flu. I've been using both Western medicine and especially herbal medicine to treat both H1N1 and the annual influenza epidemics. And this year, the COVID-19 has hit American especially hard, with the highest numbers of COVID-related deaths and the number of cases. When there was no effective treatment for COVID-19, I have been using similar kind of herbal remedy to treat influenza and H1N1 to treat COVID-19. Total of 26 patients were treated. Half of them were confirmed by the nuclear medicine test, and half of them have symptoms highly suggestive of COVID-19. With herbal treatment, they all had a full recovery without developing any severe symptoms of COVID. So I would like to share with you two of the successful cases. The number one case is a 43-year-old executive who called me in mid-March saying that he had high fever and was diagnosed with COVID-19 by nucleic acid test. And I started him on a very commonly used herbal remedy called 清肺败毒汤. And he took it for 2 days, but his fever kept getting worse. And he could not speak a complete sentence without stop in the middle. So he was admitted to the hospital. At the time of admission, his oxygen saturation is only 86%. And for reference, our normal oxygen level should be more than 90%. And fortunately for him, there was no effective Western medicine treatment at the time, so he was allowed to continue his herbal treatment in the hospital. Another 2 days of herbal medicine in the hospital, his fever was completely gone, and he was discharged on day number 3 of hospitalization because his symptoms got completely better. So about a month later, he was tested in his blood to find that he actually developed the COVID-19 antibody. His wife was also infected by him and with milder symptoms. She also took 清肺败毒汤, and within 3 days, her symptom totally resolved. Interestingly, by the time the husband was tested for COVID-19 antibody, she was tested too, and the antibody was negative. That implies that herbal medicine can actually kill the COVID-19 viruses, and the body does not have enough time to react, and so the immunological system will not develop the antibody. They have 3 children ranging age 6 to 16, and they took about 1/3 of their parents' dose, and none of them get infected. And the second case was a 71-year-old lady. In about mid-April, and she woke up, could not speak, and could not talk. The son was infected with COVID-19 first, and then the son-in-law. Because of that, they tested her quickly when she arrived in the hospital and was confirmed to be COVID-19. Unfortunately, there's not much they can do for her in the hospital at the time, and she was discharged home on day number 4 and with home oxygen. And when I saw her over the video conference, I started her on 2 traditional Chinese herbal formula, 金防败毒散 and 银翘散, plus a lot of herbs to dissolve the phlegm in her blood. And within 1 week, her symptoms completely better, and she was she was able to get rid of the home oxygen. Her husband was 69 years old and was unable to move in the bed when I saw her over a video conference, and she can barely talk. And I start him on the same medicine that I used to treat the wife. And after 2 weeks, and he had an uneventful recovery. In a month, and he was able to drive to my office to see me. And both of them will later test positive for COVID-19 antibody. So I'd like to share my experience with you because currently, even though we had 3 effective vaccines, but we still need to prevent and treat any infections before the herd immunity finally develop. So it's my sincere hope that combining Western medicine and herbal medicines, we're able to pull through the darkness before dawn. Thank you.
That's good. It's very encouraging.
Yeah, it is. So I'm very grateful that he's willing to share his experience, and I also that would like to share something more. What we have done in addition to the Chinese herbs,
Okay.
the herbal medicine we take internally. Actually, we also do something like the herbal pouch, and that's a herbal pouch that people wear. Can wear close to their chest, there's something like this, and wear close to their chest, and they can smell it as often as they like. And this is more like the old time, the aromatherapy. And this is the blender of 6 different kinds of raw herb. And this is the formula be designed by a doctor in the Qing Dynasty. And Qing Dynasty is about like 200 years ago from now. And this is an ancient formula that people use to wear when there's a pandemic. So this aromatherapy is actually being used in the old time too. And then we have sent out hundreds of the herbal pouches, again, to our patients, to our family, to our friends, and they love it. And then there's one testimonial I would like to share with you. This is my patient, and her name is Yoko. And I share the herbal pouch with her, and this is her testimonial.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Yoko Nakatani. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. Today I am going to make a testimony about this Chinese herbal pouch. One day, Fancy gave me this Chinese herbal pouch, saying, wear this around your neck. This would help your immune system stronger. First, I wasn't sure how it would work. Second, I was a little hesitant because of the smell of this pouch. Maybe because I'm from Japan and not so familiar with Chinese herbs. But then several days later, I woke up feeling under the weather. And I thought I should try this pouch, not expecting it would work immediately. But surprisingly, I started to feel better a few hours later. And I remember I contacted Fansue asking her if this is normal to work this quickly. And she said, yes, it works quicker than you think. Since then, I wear whenever I feel weak, and now I call this magic pouch. I asked her extra pouches that I was going to mail them to my mother in Japan. I hope this pouch would help many people for future. Thank you.
Really nice. That's really, really nice.
Yes. Yeah, I hope that all this testimonial that, that from the real people, and then they share the experience, can give you some inspiration and give people hope, I think, most importantly.
I think it will. I think right now we're at a point where we need to find happiness and find confidence about everything that's going on.
Yes, for sure.
Great. Okay, so what are the advantages of using traditional Chinese medicine in treating COVID-19?
There are advantages of using the traditional Chinese medicine in treating COVID-19. And the first one is it is safe. It has no side effect if you use it properly. And there's no conflict with Chinese medicine or Western medicine. And second one is it is effective. As you see that people use it and they have very positive feedback. And in China, there are more than 70,000 people have been using it. And the effective rate is more than 90%. And from my own experience and from my friends' experience, then we have the great confidence that this is working. And the third one is very convenient. So in the past, we may need to cook the herb, make into the decoction, and then drink it. But now, in the modern day, the Chinese herbal medicine have been making into the herbal powder. So actually, you can take the herbal powder, just like dissolving the herbal powder in the hot water, like making an instant coffee.
Oh, okay.
And the fourth one, it is quite inexpensive. So it's affordable for everybody.
And it's also like it's all natural products, so it's a good alternative to actually like paracetamol or ibuprofen or stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely, because they are all natural. So, and also because the main idea of the Chinese medicine, the herbs, is to strengthen your immunity. So once your immunity is strengthened, and we so-called in Chinese medicine, we say, if you strengthen your upright qi, and you can expel the evil qi. So then the virus just doesn't like to live in you. That's the thing.
That is a good, you should make t-shirts out of that. Can traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine work together, like to bring them, I would say, the greatest benefit to people?
Yeah, of course. Of course, there is no conflict, and actually the integration of both will work the best.
Okay.
So we can use the Chinese medicine for prevention. Like, for example, the herbal formula you can take, or the herbal pouch you can wear. And also, when someone already get the COVID-19 and have all the symptoms and they need treatment, and then at this time, the Chinese medicine can be used for the treatment and in combination with the Western medicine. And they work really well together and help people to recover much quicker. And also after the post-COVID-19, a lot of people still suffer from some of the residual symptoms and the fatigue and the weakness, even though they test for negative for the virus, but their body just didn't totally recover. And this time that people also come to our office and seeing us for help them to recover. And we use acupuncture and herbs and to help them recover much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the combination of both, I think both medicine has its strengths. So once we use both of the strengths to combat the COVID-19, I think that's the best strategy.
Okay. But what about if you don't have access to Chinese herbs? How do you stay healthy?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, not everybody get access to the herbal medicine. But I think, now it's more and more popular, the Chinese medicine all over the world. And it's very possible you still can find someone, the herbalist or the Chinese medicine practitioner locally, and to assist you. So there are things that I would like to share with you, what we can do daily so we can continue to strengthen our immunity. And the first one, make sure we get sunlight every day. Sunlight is so important for the yang qi, the very positive, very warm, the energy that help to boost our immunity. And we also know that sunlight is very important for the vitamin D synthesis in our body. So getting sunlight is extremely important, especially like I live in Boston, in the winter time, not too much sunlight, or people don't go outside. So at that time, we may need to take some like supplement, like vitamin D supplements for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but sunlight can definitely give us a very positive outlook and make us happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second one is exercise. I think this is everybody we know. Exercise can help us to boost our immunity. So helpful, so many benefits for us. But I think the thing is that we know that, but now is the time for us to put into practice. Don't you agree?
I do. I think more than ever, it needs to be done.
Definitely. Yeah. And the third one is to have a balanced diet. And we suggest that to eat the plant-based diet because they offer us the genuine nutrients and they are pure and they do not put us a lot of burden, so easy to digest, so easy to absorb. And the plant-based diet have been proved to strengthen our immunity. And we suggest that every day we eat the different colors of the vegetables and the variety of the grains, beans, seeds, nuts, and fruit, mushroom, sea vegetable, all the different kind of varieties. Because the different color, different kind of varieties give us a different nutrients. So we need to eat more of that and eat more of the real food instead of packaging food, which means that we buy that from the supermarket. We can see the food is not in the box because in the box, sometimes there are many chemicals. We don't know. Yeah. So it's better to eat more real food than the packaging food.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the next one is to drink enough water. 70% of our body is water. So we definitely need the water. Water is the best medicine, believe it or not. And help us to cleanse the toxins every day. And then we have enough the water, and then our body have a good metabolism. And people ask me, how much water should I drink every day? As a rule of thumb, you can use your body weight in kilogram times 40, equal to the milliliter, the cc that you need to take. And for example, I weigh like 50 kilograms times 40. So I need to take 2,000 milliliter, which means 2 liters of water every day.
It's a good system to actually know what you need to take and what you shouldn't.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
All right. And the next one is take some supplements when needed. For the supplements, we suggest that we take the food-based supplements, which means the supplement is from the food concentrate. It's not chemical made. In this way, I think that will give you the genuine nutrients that can nourish your body. And for I would suggest that maybe can take the multivitamin daily. Yeah, something like that. Just make it simple. And the next one is very important for having a regular bowel movement every day.
Yep.
Because I know a lot of people have this problem. And this is not allowed because our body have to detox every day. Otherwise, we block the toxin inside, it won't do anything good to our body. Yes. And the next one is to sleep well. So we know that enough sleep is always the key to health.
Indeed, it's true.
And the next one is talking about our emotion. It's very important to be grateful, joyful, and hopeful because a positive emotion can really strengthen our immunity.
No, that's what we said earlier, that a positive mind can help
greatly you fight the disease.
Definitely. Yeah. So the thing that we don't want is fear.
Mm.
So yeah, be positive, be hopeful is the best medicine.
Do you have any more tips for us?
Of course. And there are more tips I would like to share with you that I practice myself, and I share that with my patients. It's very easy, simple. And the first one is like when someone that when you feel a little bit under the weather,
Mm-hmm.
and what you can do is you come home and to cook lemon peel and mix with lemon juice, which
Okay.
means that you squeeze the lemon juice and put it aside, and then cook the lemon peel in the water.
Okay.
And after you cook it for 30 minutes and let it cool down a little bit, then you mix the juice into the soup and
Okay.
the drink. And you can drink it warm. And then actually it will help you to strengthen your immunity, and also the lemon peel, they have antibacterial, antiviral property anyway. So that help you to, in the very beginning of the discomfort, and then to expel the pathogenic factors.
Okay.
And the second one I would like to suggest is that when you maybe you go outside and you feel like you feel chill, you catch cold or something, and
Mhm.
immediately you can drink a hot ginger tea. And
Okay.
ginger tea is a very, very good remedy. It's a home remedy for expelling the cold. So like before, Isha mentioned, the COVID-19 like to stay in the cold and damp environment. So we want to keep our body warm, and ginger can keep our body warm. So then we can create the environment that the virus doesn't like to live there. And also the next one, to wear a scarf, because there's acupuncture point on our neck, and they very easily to catch the wind and the cold. So wear a scarf and to prevent the cold invading to our system. Or if you already feel cold, and then you can come home and go home and use a hair dryer to blow on the back of your neck. And there's an acupuncture point there. You can bring up the yang qi, and then that can expel the cold too.
It's a nice tip.
Okay, yeah, really quickly, you may feel, wow, I feel much better. I don't feel like chill anymore.
Well, like for example, my grandmother, she was not Chinese at all. She was Italian. And she always told me, well, when you feel that you have a cold, or when you feel that you're not when you feel under the weather, as we say, sleep with socks on and sleep with a sweater. And it's funny because you're basically like, when you're saying this, you're covering like, wear thick or more socks, wear a scarf, so it's like a sweater, use the dryer. So basically, block any possible area of your body to actually get where the cold can actually dive in.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with your grandmother. I think she has she has very high wisdom.
She has, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like nowadays, like sometimes we forget some of so-called common sense. Sometimes we kind of lose it. Yeah. So keep ourselves warm. It's very important to not catching cold, right?
All right. So we've arrived sort of at the end.
Yes.
I'm seeing you're adding something to the slide. Tell me about it.
Yeah, adding something here. So like keeping warm is a very important key. And I also, this is my daily practice.
Okay.
Yeah, like when I go home from work, and I always use a neti pot. I have a nasal irrigation to wash my nasal passages. In the past, I have a nasal congestion. And after I use a neti pot with salt water, the warm salt water, and my congestion goes away. And every day, I just want to make sure that my nasal passages is clean. So I cleanse all the dirt, any germs, they can stay on my mucus. And then also you can gargle with sea salt, warm salt water when you feel like you have a sore throat. And that can, that'll be very helpful too.
Nice, very, very nice. lot of stuff that I did not know, and got a nice guide of what I can do to prevent any form. Actually, it's not even just for COVID-19. It's for if you have the flu, if you have like the sniffles or anything like this.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, it's for everything. Yeah, it's for everything.
It's just,
Yeah,
it's just a guide of life.
definitely. Yeah, it's kind of life.
Okay, so could you give us a summary of today's talk before I give us also a summary in French?
Of course. Yes, so today I want to conclude today's talk. The first one is the idea of the upright chi. So the upright chi is our best protection. Remember, the upright chi is our strong immunity. And the broader definition, the upright chi is the optimal health of our body, mind, and spirit. So not just the healthy of our body, but our mind and spirit play a very, very important role in strengthen the overall health of our body. So we are facing multiple calamities or the problems we are having now.
Yeah.
So as that strengthen the upright chi, it's not only like talking about ourselves, talking about our in terms of the angle of the spirit. So the upright chi in terms of our spirit is that we have a loving heart and we have a helping heart. So we would like to like boost our like to elevate our loving energy. That's very critical at this moment. So loving energy is not only love the people, our family, our friends, but I think now it's very important that we have to extend this love to love our Mother Earth and also other creatures. They also live on the earth. There are more than 77 billions of land animals were slaughtered every year. So imagine, how much of the negative energy can spreading in the universe.
I know.
Yeah. So I encourage everybody that at this moment that really using our heart, the loving heart inside, and to apply to everything surrounding us. That's the best way to protect us, believe or not.
It is the best way.
Yes. Yeah, and secondly, I hope that through this conversation, and we learn about the Chinese herbs and how effective they are, and they actually are helping us to overcome the COVID-19. So don't be afraid.
Okay.
Don't be afraid, because fear can lower your immunity. We don't want to be fearful, and we want to be hopeful. So there's a solution, and I hope that that we learn about it, and I sincerely hope that this is a time that we can integrate Western and Chinese medicine and to save more lives.
It's a good message, and I'm sure everyone will be happy about this and feel strong.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Yulis. We really appreciate this opportunity to work with you and to share this information to all the audience. And thank you for all the audience for listening. And we also would like to express our biggest thanks to the doctors and nurses and the essential workers who work in the front line to save lives. And I sincerely hope and wish that in the near future, and the Western medicine and the Chinese medicine can work together to save more lives. And I wish everybody be very healthy and joyful. Thank you.